John and Darren's office chairs provided by GT Omega Racing. You can check them out at gtomegaracing.com. Welcome to This Week Inside Sim Racing, March 16th edition. I'm Darren Ganji here, and alongside me is John Sable, and welcome to the show. Lots to talk about today and lots to do. We're going to have our Thrustmaster T150, TH8A, and T3PA pedal giveaway. We're going to talk about the Thrustmaster pedal adapters. Matter of fact, I got them sitting back here. We're going to do a little unboxing. I'm going to talk about Sector 3's image and quote, I guess we could say, about them using the Unreal Engine. I'm going to talk about the RaceRoom force feedback update, Forza Motorsports 6 Meguiars car pack, Automobilista March 9th build, and the Fanatec PlayStation support press release that Thomas posted on his blog. We'll be talking about that. Also going to talk about the 12 Hours of Sebring and how all of our teams fared. We ended up having 3 entries for that race. And then some other stuff that's going on in the studio, SimXperience Stage 4, first look, Trak Racer RS8 review, and American Truck Simulator. We got some gameplay. That's why I'm wearing my my trucker hat here. And then we got a poll question, which should be located right up here. Here. Click on the I, and the poll question for this week is, what brand wheel do you use? And we've got, Fanatec, Thrustmaster, Logitech, SimXperience, AccuForce, and OSW.
Yes.
So we'd appreciate you participating in that. And if you'd like to send us a donation, we'd very much appreciate it. Matter of fact, I gotta find the guy's name. Some guy sent us a $100 donation the other day, which was really cool. And I'm gonna try to find his name here while we're talking and give him props for that. If you were expecting the Renato Simeone interview, that's not going to happen today. Renato had to travel, is not going to be available, as a matter of fact, until the 30th. So he confirmed that he's going to be on the show on March 30th. So we had to put that off until then. And real quick, again, before we get going, another thing I'd like to say, I'd like to thank Wim Breeze for being here every day, every Wednesday, I should say, supporting the show, helps us out in chat as a moderator, posts the show over at his site. If you haven't visited his site, check it out, bsimracing.com. But anyway, Wim, thank you so much for everything you do for helping to support this show and promote it and just be part of it every Wednesday. So, and one more thing, we would appreciate a like. If you like this show, give us a thumbs up. So, John, why don't you take the next? I've been a little long-winded here. It's your turn to talk.
So we have a couple of giveaways today, and one of them is a Derek Spears button box. Speare. I should know.
Derek Speare Designs.
Derek Speare Designs.
For the longest time, I said Derek Spears.
I know. You told me a long time ago. So yes. So a DSD box. This kind of spans from when we had Tony Gardner of iRacing.
We got an image of it too, don't we?
Oh yeah. Let me go.
Track Boss button box.
Yep. Let me go ahead and pull that up. But yeah, when we had Tony on, Derek came in chat and said that he would give a button box away. I think when we got over 500 people live. I don't remember
it was over 500. He said he would give away a Track Boss.
Yep, so there it is, the Track Boss, and we'll be giving it away later in the show, and we'll have a question that we're gonna, I guess, give later in the show. Well,
the question is gonna actually, so you got to pay attention. The question is gonna be related to one of the stories during the show. And after we're all through our news portion of the show, before we go to Q&A, we're going to ask that question. First person to answer in chat wins that Track Boss button box. And thanks to Derek Spears for putting up that prize. That's a cool prize.
It is.
Button box is a must.
They're useful.
They are very useful.
Yes.
Especially when you're driving an 18-wheeler.
So, speaking of contests, you want to roll into the next one?
Absolutely.
So, we are finally, after probably about a month now of letting you guys know every week, giving away the Thrustmaster T150 prize package. And let me go here and pull up an image of it.
Yeah, and to do so, you had to answer 3 questions that we've been talking about here on the show. We've also posted them on our Facebook page. in our forums. And so yeah, somebody is going to win a T150, a T3PA set of pedals, and a TH8A shifter. Yep. So you had to email us with the answer to these 3 questions. And this is what they were, and this is what the answers are. So what was the release date of the Thrustmaster T150? And we're going to take a few answers on this one. You don't have to give us an exact date because it varied from region to region. So it's either going to be in late September, October, or even November of last year. Second question was, who won the 2016 Daytona 500 and what was the margin of victory? Winner of that race was Denny Hamlin, and he won by 1/10 of a second. I saw some people put .011, and we'll take that answer too. And then the last question was, name at least one title that the Thrustmaster T150 is compatible with on the PlayStation 4. And as far as I know, we will accept Project Cars, The Crew, WRC5, Sebastian Loeb, Rally Evo, and Drive Club. Can you think of any that I might have forgotten there?
No, I think that's everything.
So again, we're going to do the random.org drawing, a random drawing, and we had 460 entries. So John, why don't you go ahead and randomize that for us and give me a number, and I'll look up who won. Well, we'll see who won.
Wow, 419.
Okay. So let me see who the 419th entry was here. And let's see if he got the questions right.
Yeah, that's going to be a late entry.
Because last time, person didn't get the questions right. So
exactly.
You can go ahead and fill the dead air there if you want.
Oh, sorry, copyright infringement.
Okay. Edgar Astrov, October 2015. However, Amazon US listed as September 30th, so that's right. Denny Hamlin, .010, and Project Cars. Yay! Edgar Astroff, you won that whole package. So, matter of fact, before I forget, I'm going to reply to you here and finish this email after the show. And
let us know if you're in chat right now.
Yeah, if you're in chat, let us know. Yeah, and so everybody can congratulate you. But you won that whole package, and I'll email you if you weren't watching live, and you catch this later, and get your address and all that stuff, and Thrustmaster will be sending out that package. Do you like to thank Thrustmaster for donating those prizes? That's a cool prize package. You know, we only got about half the amount of entries for this one, too.
Yeah, that's what we were saying. It's like, even though the TX was a cool prize package, you know, this one, you know, with the shifter and the T3PA pedals, pretty good, you know, $500 value.
Well, yeah, and we were talking about this before the show. Even if you have a wheel and pedal set, or you just didn't want a Thrustmaster T150, you should have entered because you could have just sold it.
Sure.
I mean, that's a cool package. And again, brand new, you could have sold that in our forums for $500 or close to it.
Yeah.
Even if you got $400.
Yeah.
That's $400 you wouldn't have had.
That's right.
So, so anyway, congratulations again, Edgar, and thanks to everybody that participated. And we'll probably have more of those contests throughout the year. Hey, we got another giveaway on the show here, so make sure you stay tuned to try to win that Derek Speare Designs button box. And we may even give away some more Audi TT Cup RaceRoom codes. I was thinking about we need to get some more codes. I'm going to talk to SimXperience about maybe some SimVibe codes, maybe get some iRacing credits to give away. So anyway, thanks again, Edgar, and everybody else for entering. So next news, we got the Thrustmaster here, and why don't you go ahead and start reading, John, and I'll get our...
Sure. So Thrustmaster came out with or at least announced another new adapter this week.
No, it's out.
Oh, is it out?
Yeah, it's available.
And it is the T.RJ12 USB adapter, which isn't the most friendly name. Oh man, getting all sorts of live pop-ups. But yeah, and the whole idea of this is that you can run let me get this right. You're running your separate pedals.
Yes, so you can run the T3PA, T3PA Pro, and they don't list it in the press release, but I'm assuming the T500 pedals would also work with this. And it allows you to use this adapter. As a matter of fact, why don't we do a little... So John's got the previous adapter, the the DB9.
Yes, yes.
So that allows you to plug your pedals, or G25, G27, G29 pedals into the Thrustmaster base. And this one allows you to plug directly into USB. It's a cool little adapter.
Yeah, so essentially if you want to run Thrustmaster pedals, but not necessarily a Thrustmaster wheel,
Right.
you can go into your PC via the USB. And then here's that adapter, so if you run a Thrustmaster wheel and you want to run Logitech pedals, you can do so.
Well, this is a trip. This has a switch with a car and a plane.
Huh, I wonder what that means.
Maybe you can use them as rudder pedals.
Oh, yeah.
So let me give you guys a little close-up, see if you can see that. There's a little switch right there. So this also gives you the, I don't know if you just said this, gives you the full Thrustmaster pedal resolution. So you get, what is it, 10-bit?
Yes.
1024 steps of resolution. So that's with the G pedals too. Using this adapter plugged into the Thrustmaster base, you get the 1024 bits of resolution with Logitech pedals.
Yeah.
So what's cool about that is if you were looking to upgrade from a G wheel, a Logitech G wheel to the Thrustmaster, you can just get the servo base and get a rim, and you already have a set of pedals.
Yes.
And you would need this adapter.
Yeah, and especially there's a lot of people out there who run the Logitech pedals with aftermarket adapters, or aftermarket, brake mods and stuff like that. So if you want to, comfortable with those pedals and want to keep them, here you go.
Before we move further on this, because I want to talk a little bit more about these, you guys in Europe may have noticed we started an hour earlier your time, and that's because of we moved our clocks forward this last Sunday. So anyway, I know it's starting 8 p.m. UTC, and before we were at 9 p.m. UTC. So twice a year we're going to be swapping back and forth, and I think it happened for them a couple weeks back.
It was like a month or so ago. I know some of you guys were talking about the show started later. So yeah, it's just kind of what we deal with as different places have different daylight savings.
Yep. So back to this adapter. It's only available in the Thrustmaster European shop currently. Matter of fact, if you go to our website and look at the news blurb, there's a link directly to the shop. And it's going to be available in the US soon. So both of these are available right now in the European shop. The USB adapter goes for $12.99 British pounds or €14.99 euro. And then this one is $9.99 British pounds and $9.99 euro. So I'm not sure why it isn't more euro. But anyway,
yeah.
You can only get it through the Thrustmaster store, and again, it's going to be available soon in the US.
So now a nice little, fairly inexpensive way to mix and match your gear.
Yeah, and then back to this one too.
That one's very good.
If let's say you were running a Logitech wheel and you wanted to update to like the Pro pedals. Or something like that, or like you got a DFGT or whatever it is, you can plug this directly into, or like let's say like with my SimXperience AccuForce wheel. So let's say you upgraded to an AccuForce, but you had a set of T500 pedals or T3PA Pro pedals. You'd still be able to use those pedals with this adapter.
Yes.
So, yeah, it's a cool deal. Glad to see they did that. I've said since I reviewed the T500. Long ago that they should have had something like this.
Yeah.
And now they do. So, yeah, it's cool. So next up, iRace for Life, giving you guys a reminder that it's coming soon. Speaking of which, I saw Travis from Texas in chat here. Hey, Travis, does that shirt look familiar? You got me this shirt, buddy. This is my In-N-Out shirt. So thanks again, Travis, for hooking me up with this shirt. I wear it all the time. But anyway, wanted to give you guys a reminder. It's coming April 27th through the 29th in Dallas. Best of all, it's free. And to learn more or to register, go to iraceforlife.org. And besides all the great racing that they're going to have, there's an impressive lineup of attendees, or I should say people that are going to, well, all the attendees are going to be an impressive lineup, but there's going to be guys that are going to be putting together classes or seminars. David Cater is going to be back. Wyatt Gooden is going to be back. I'm going to say going to be back to a lot of these here. Ray Alfala is coming back. Otto Zabini will be there from iRacing. Tony said he might be coming too.
Yeah, I don't know if that's been
confirmed
yet.
So I think we put him on the spot.
Yeah.
But hopefully Tony will be there. It's great to see him whenever I do. Douglas Gerard from iRace Racing will be there doing a class. Is also giving away prizes. Russell Hodgson from Z1 Software. And did you know this? Sam Maxwell from Sam Maxwell Custom Wheels is going to be there.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Yeah, that's going to be really cool. And here's another thing. So originally we announced the grand prize for main performance PC was going to be $2,500. He doubled it.
What?
$5,000. You're going to get $5,000 in credits to main performance PC.
I'm applying for that.
Oh, we will be. I want to win that one this year because, man, we're going to get like the friggin' beast computer out of that.
Yeah.
So if either one of us wins, that'll be our broadcast machine. Well, I don't actually probably turn into your race machine.
Yeah.
Oh
man.
So besides that, Thrustmaster is going to give away some prizes. Derek Speare Designs, iAnalyze Racing, Z1 Software, SimXperience, and Gateway Church. And then iRacing, they don't have them listed in the on the iRacing forum, but iRacing usually gives away credit and stuff too. So, and finally, to top it all off, that Stage 4 I've been talking about, that SimXperience, not that one in particular, but you guys can test drive a SimXperience Stage 4 simulator with an AccuForce Pro wheel. It's going to be there throughout the whole seminar. It's going to be available for everybody to drive, so if you wanted to test one of those out, come to the seminar and check it out. And this is open to anybody, and it's free.
Yep.
Free food. All you got to do is just pay for your transportation, and if you live close enough, you don't even have to pay for a hotel. You have to pay for a hotel and transportation, but...
I mean, free food, that's awesome.
Yep. Lots of great racing, too. So, and you got a month and a half to get things organized and show up and join us. That'd be great to see some of you guys out there. You can go next. I'm getting long-winded again.
Okay, rolling into a bit of the news this week, and first up was a pretty cool one from Sector 3. And essentially there was another image that was quote-unquote leaked on the Virtual R, I believe on Monday, and at least Monday night. And what was said was an anonymous leak saying it was an image of Sector of RaceRoom using the Unreal Engine 4. And that prompted Chris Speed, CEO of Sector 3, to come back and release this actual image, which looks a hell of a lot better than the first image that was shown, and pretty much say that, yeah, they're looking into changing to the Unreal Engine, and this is kind of, a test. This is what they have so far. So,
that's pretty sweet.
Yeah, it looks awesome.
That's the same engine the guys at KartCraft are using.
Exactly, which KartCraft will be the first sim, I believe, out there that's going to use the Unreal Engine. So
it is. I've never heard of that.
Yeah, so yeah, it looks great, and hopefully they go that way. One thing they didn't mention is that they hired a couple employees.
No, they were looking
They're looking for a couple programmers who had Real Engine 3 and 4 experience. So
looks like it's happening.
It could be happening, which is good because, like I mentioned in the blog post I did of this yesterday, I was kind of worried after we did the graphics card and the GTX 970 benchmark and review, because in that benchmark clearly saw that DX9 titles are struggling performance-wise, just because DX9 is now like 10 years old, and the latest hardware, it doesn't really support it anymore. And iRacing was going to DX11, but there was nothing out of RaceRoom or any of the ISI titles, so it's good to see now RaceRoom stepping up and being like, no, we're looking on to correct this.
Yeah. Real quick, back to iRace for Life. Brandon Trossel just asked, how can I fly to Texas for iRace for Life with my whole rig? You honestly don't have to. There's going to be 5 or 6 rigs set up that anybody can race in. So you don't have to come in. A lot of times guys will let you borrow their rig if they're not running in a particular race. And that Stage 4 is going to be set up. So there's going to be plenty of rigs for people to race in. I'm going to be racing this year for sure. This is going to be my 3rd year and I have yet to race there. You got to run at least one race.
Yes.
So anyway, you don't need to bring your rig. Just show up and you'll be able to drive in somebody's rig that's there. So anyway, were we done with...
Yeah, I think we're done with talking about Sector 3 and the Unreal Engine. And again, hopefully that that's the way they go because it looks great.
We do have more from RaceRoom.
Well, we do have more from RaceRoom, so let me fire it up here. And RaceRoom announced, actually I think this was on Monday, this announcement got kind of sworn by the news of the Unreal Engine, that they have force feedback updates coming. And essentially what you're doing here, I pulled up the Sector 3 forums, is they're kind of going a little bit of I say iRacing approaches because iRacing is the only one I really know that does it, with a clipping graph, where the yellow line there, you can set your minimum.
Seto does.
Seto does too. But it's pretty much that yellow line means you can set a minimum force feedback, which is a new feature. The red line is your max, and then green is where your force feedback's at, and you can see how much clipping you're doing. So that's a pretty cool feature. It's very useful. So they got that. There's some of the minimum force feedback. They have some new slip effects, which you'll be able to adjust also in the menu, how much effects you want to have, which we'll see what that's like. In Assetto Corsa, I actually turn a lot of that slip effects off because I don't care for it, so it'll be interesting what it's like in RaceRoom. Stationary friction now when you're coming from a standstill, and then a force feedback multiplier. So say you get force feedback dialed in on one car, but then you jump to a different car because it has different physics or whatnot, the force feedback's kind of weak or kind of strong. You can come in with that multiplier there and adjust it so you kind of keep your same settings, but you get the force feedback balance between all the cars. And then here's a picture showing heavy clipping, mild clipping, zero clipping. And this was, Sector 3 kind of explained this as, well, if you're driving, maybe if you're on a G27 and it doesn't have the strongest force feedback, maybe you want to be running with a little bit of mild clipping. That's okay. But then again, if you're running like an AccuForce that has plenty of force feedback, you want to be in the zero clipping zone. So yeah, that was all kind of new force feedback updates coming from them.
Yep, that's really cool. Someone mentioned in chat too, RaceRoom's really, and we've been talking about this. Funny thing is, a couple weeks back, someone says, you guys never talk about RaceRoom.
We talk a lot about on this show.
We talk about them all the time, and one of the things we keep mentioning about RaceRoom is, what great strides they're making to really make this a top-notch sim. Yeah. Unreal Engine.
Yep.
Now this.
Yep.
I mean, they're stepping it up.
Yes.
And it's great. The content that they're coming out with, Nordschleife, all these great cars. I mean, one of my favorite packs that's going to be hitting any sim, that IMSA GTO pack is coming. So,
yeah.
Anyway.
I think people are starting to kind of take awareness to it too, because like I posted that blog post over on our Facebook yesterday. A ton of interaction, a ton of impressions, a lot of people sharing. So it's like, clearly there's people out there who are playing RaceRoom or at least extremely interested in it. So it's good to see.
Yeah,
they've come a long way.
It's great to see. Good guys over there at Sector 3. You know what? All the developers, every developer that I've dealt with is super cool.
Yeah. And they're trying to do their best, by the way.
Yeah, all of them are.
Even though as much of the community goes, why are you doing this?
Reminder, if you missed the start of the show, we are going to be giving away a Derek Speare button box, Track Boss button box at the end of the news portion of the show. We're going to give it away live, so pay attention to what we say during the news, because something that we talk about is going to be related to the question. First person to answer it in chat wins.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, and by the way, I forgot to mention, I saw in chat here that RaceRoom, that update's coming in next patch, which sounds like it's going to be kind of end of this month, beginning of April. That's kind of what we're hearing.
And speaking of which, we're going to be interviewing a couple of the developers from RaceRoom maybe next week, since Renato got pushed to the end of the month. They were hoping to come on today, but then Renato got pushed to today. So, JF, if you're watching, if not, I'll talk.
I saw him in chat earlier.
Oh. If you're not still here, JF, I'll talk to you via Skype, and let's get those guys on for next week.
And bring more Unreal screenshots with you.
Yeah, oh, that would be awesome. What else was I going to say about that?
I don't know.
Oh, we were just talking about the Derek Speare's button box.
Oh, yes.
So, next up,
Forza Motorsports 6 had another pack release, so we'll cover it.
Well, they do once a month.
They do once a month.
Actually, I think the Porsche would maybe have been an extra.
The Porsche was an extra one. That was kind of because that was 2 weeks ago. But yeah, this is the Meguiars car pack. I guess this is the last.
I know what I was going to say. Stop.
Oh.
Sorry.
Go.
Let's go back. RaceRoom.
Oh, okay.
Speaking of RaceRoom, we're going to be doing some pre-release test drives as well.
Yes.
Billy's already set up. I don't know if I mentioned it on a previous show, but he's already set up with the work in progress build. So we're going to be showing you guys, or Billy's going to be showing you guys, Nordschleife, some of the new cars, maybe the Bentley, some cool stuff coming up. So that's what I was going to say, and it slipped my mind. So now back to Forza Motorsports. Sorry about that, John.
Now back to Forza. So again, the Meguiars car pack was released yesterday. It's the last of the 6 car packs that are included when you're a season pass holder. So beyond this point, you'll have to pay for the car packs like everyone else who isn't a car pass owner.
And if you're not a car pass owner, you'd have to pay for this pack individually.
Yeah, which they didn't list a price on the website, which is kind of odd. Normally
It's
they
like
run
$10.
Normally about $10, yeah. And then you can also buy the cars individually for, I think, for like $1 or $2. But yes, the car.
Love that car. That's
Yeah.
from that era I was talking about, that IMSA era.
Yes, that's a 1988 Jaguar Racing XJR9. There's the new Ferrari 488 GTB, which they butcher the 458, so that's just my opinion.
Daytona prototype.
I love right here the effect. The front of that paint scheme is shiny, and then the rest of it's dull, just like how they have it in real life, which is such a cool little feature pickup. And then some classic cars here.
Just showed the 1934 Alfa Romeo, and this is a 1967 Benz.
Yep.
1968 Opel GT.
Good looking car.
You know, it's funny, when those cars, I used to see those cars when I was a kid. They always look kind of funny. I thought they looked like fake, like mini Corvettes.
Oh, yeah.
Like the 70s Corvettes.
No, I can see that. So yep, that's the latest and greatest car pack out of Forza Motorsport 6.
Billy, speaking of Billy, just did a test drive for us. I think he ran that.
The Jag.
He did. He ran the Jag, so we're going to be putting that up probably later today. And you know what? Real quick, too, got to thank Billy for all the content he's been pumping out. I mean,
killing it.
He is killing it. And he does a great job. Just did one. Did you watch the one he did for Project Cars with the Mercedes DTM?
No, I haven't watched. I haven't watched that one yet. I watched the trucks.
He did a setup tutorial at the end of the video, which was really well done.
I gotta check that out. No, those setup. Anytime he's talked setup stuff, it's always been fantastic.
John, it's Jaguar.
No, I'm gonna be like the Clarkson Jag, or whatever he says it. Okay, so and
Jag and the DP he did.
Oh, sweet. And speaking of Billy and Automobilista, they had a patch that came out during last week's live show, so we're going to go back and cover that. And while we're covering that, I'm going to let Billy's run in the stadium truck go here.
And they called stadium trucks or super trucks?
Super. I stuttered. I was like, wait, is it super or stadium?
Well, the ones that we're used to seeing like this are stadium trucks.
I think they are super. Yeah. But anyway, the update last week had some force feedback adjustments. They have some new settings that I gotta play around with now, where they have this pure 360 hertz and 180 hertz pure plus effects, and they're all force feedback settings. And like I said, honestly, I gotta play a little more and see what the difference is. I'm running right now at 180 pure plus effect 1, I believe.
The 360 is for like high-end wheels, so like an AccuForce or a OSW or something like that.
Yeah, so that makes sense. Let's see, frame rates, they set to 120 default. Fix some bugs, enhance tire skid and scrub volumes. Scale down rental cart chassis to have more accurate dimensions. So those are some updates from last week. I will say, I was taking the super truck out yesterday racing against the AI, and I was having a lot of fun. I mean, these trucks
I heard you kept playing that. By the way, to Redline Rossi, you keep asking about the track racer. John didn't put it out yet because he was running this.
Pretty much, yeah. No, I wanted to get some testing in. We were talking about having Renato on today, so wanted to make sure I was up to speed on everything. So no, track racer.
All right, that's a good enough excuse.
Tomorrow, and but yeah, no, super truck's so much fun. I will say, Automobilista, I told Darren this, might have some of the best sky modeling I've seen in sim racing. Like their birds, they have like a low flying bird and a high flying bird, and they have low flying planes and high flying planes. They all look great. It's always a seagull, which, I don't know if there's seagulls in the mountains of Austria, but it does look great. So
Yeah, I'm gonna have to check that out. As a matter of fact, I had a guy on in our forums asking me for my AccuForce Pro settings for Automobilista in the Formula. I guess it's considered the Formula Classic. Basically, Ayrton Senna's McLaren Honda.
Yeah.
Ayrton Senna.
There you go.
And anyway, I need to get out there and run some current Automobilista and get that set up for him. By the way, I see a lot of your guys' questions coming in. Nigel Glenn, Dark Sea Wolf, Leo, and Jonathan. Got all your questions, so stay tuned for Q&A and we'll answer those questions for you guys.
Perfect. I will say one thing. I want to see you run the Super Truck on...
I was thinking that too.
On the SimXperience. And then also, I got to go practice a little more because... And Billy was doing a good job there. You got to kind of like blip the brake. You got to pump the brake slightly before you go off a jump to kind of even yourself out.
Yeah, you have to preload the suspension.
Yeah, because I was doing a lot of like nosers.
Someone also mentioned to hold the gas.
Yeah, I was holding the gas, and then I was starting. See, I tried letting off the gas, see what that did, and that actually made it worse. So yeah, I was keeping the gas down, and yeah, you got to get a little bit of that blip going, kind of time that, and not slow yourself down. See, that's the thing. I for the most part, I can run wide open, and I'll land hard, but I'm carrying speed.
You do an endo.
So yeah, I got to see if there's a fast way to kind of blip that brake, but more to play around with, and they're a lot of fun. And the AI overall is pretty decent. It was doing some kind of old R-Factor ISI engine at the beginning, a little bit of like they all step out together, Congo line type thing. But besides that, they were running pretty well. So
I definitely want to check that out. I want to see those trucks on some dirt. I know that series. I had no idea that series, and it's like a support series for like the Aussie V8s
and
IndyCar. Something that Robbie Gordon started. I had no idea that they were running on these tracks with these jumps, and I was like, "What? Why didn't Automobilista? Why didn't Ritza guys make some dirt tracks with this?" And it's like, well, that's how they run.
Yeah.
Oh, I had no idea. So anyway, even though I'd still love to take those out. I wonder if you can run those on the. I'm imagining you can on the rallycross.
I assume
tracks.
you could. I'll have to give that a try. But.
So people are saying they got refunds on. At Atanas, who was one of our teammates for the Sebring 12-hour, he got a refund on Automobilista. Shame on you. That's a great title, man. You needed to get that thing dialed in. It was still in early access.
It does take a little bit to dial in.
Yeah.
That is sure. And we'll see. I'm kind of interested to see. I definitely have lower frame. It looks better, but I definitely have lower frame rates, and I'm kind of seeing how much more optimization they get before release. I haven't like Game Stock Cars kind of like threw the kitchen sink at it and ran everything on, but I'm having to kind of go back a little. I mean, it still looks really clean. I mean, it's still not the most advanced graphics as terms of like some post-processing stuff like that, but they're very clean, and I like that. And it still looks really good, running things at like high settings instead of like maxed. So no, overall enjoying it. I need to jump into the open wheel cars and back into the karts because I ran the karts a lot in Stock Car Extreme. So with that, okay. So ready for the transition? Next topic. You're taking questions.
I got a bunch of questions.
Okay, so something that got brought up last week, and I think this is another thing, like a news story that kind of broke the same day of the show, was Thomas from Fanatec released a blog post saying that there wouldn't be PlayStation support or whatever. And pretty much,
I'm going to read it.
Yeah,
actually.
go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
This is Thomas's what it says in the blog. You might have already noticed that we have removed the icons to show the PlayStation compatibility on our website. So what does that mean? As part of the licensing process for a new officially licensed racing wheel, Sony Computer Entertainment has asked us to stop promoting our unlicensed wheels as being PlayStation compatible, and we are happy to comply with that. As soon as we have a fully licensed PlayStation wheel on the market, we will officially announce the compatibility again. If you have already purchased a Fanatec product with previously promoted PS3 or PS4 compatibility, basically nothing will change for you. The compatibility for those wheels still depends solely on the game developers and if they decide to add or keep the support for their wheels in their games or not. If you purchase a new wheel from us from now on, we will only guarantee the PC or Xbox One compatibility as advertised. I hope you understand our position and rest assured that we do everything to make our products as compatible as possible.
So, essentially, nothing's really changed. They just kind of got slapped on the wrist by Sony.
Unless one of the developers yanks,
Exactly.
gets some pressure from Sony and yanks compatibility.
Yes. Yes, that would be the only, which, I don't know, maybe that kind of brings up a good question about forthcoming Gran Turismo, since Gran Turismo essentially is like Sony.
Oh, it is.
So,
well, that's partially why the Club Sport wheel and any of the other wheels weren't compatible with Drive Club either.
That's right.
That was a first-party developer.
Yeah.
Versus third-party, which is like Project Cars or Slightly Mad. So anyway.
So yeah, I mean, I said, unless someone pulls it out, which would be surprising, but who knows, it should be just kind of par for the course. If anything, I said on our forums today, it just confuses maybe new customers who go on the website and go, oh wait, it's not PS4 or 3 compatible. I don't want it. So that's really kind of the only confusion.
Yeah, and again, it'll be compatible as long as the developers don't pull that compatibility.
Yes. That or Fanatec ponies up licensing.
Yeah, that's going to be part of it. It sounds like they're working on having complete compatibility. That's with the PS3 and the PS4.
Yes.
So, and that was the case in the past. On the PS3, their wheels basically mimicked a G25 or G27. So, like if you booted up a Fanatec wheel on the PC and put it in PS3 mode, it would show in the game controller's profiler as a Logitech G25. So basically, they were mimicking that compatibility. So, next story.
Sebring 12-hour recap, which...
you go ahead.
Okay, I'll say, before we start and let you know how we and the rest of the ISR TV teams perform, pay close attention, because the answer to the DSD contest is in here.
Yes.
Somewhere.
Yes. So pay attention, and we are going to ask a question at the end of this story. So pay attention closely to this story. Don't forget. And the question is going to be related to the 12-hour Sebring recap. And the first person to answer is going to win that DSD button box. So this was what we're talking about is the iRacing 12 Hours of Sebring that took place last Saturday. And we had 3 teams running, 2 of which were made up solely of you guys, viewers of the show, people that visit our forums. And these guys had never raced together on a team. And then our third team was made up of our usual group, the 2 of us, Bruno and Fabio DeCarmo, and Scott Holmes. So, that being said, first going to tell you guys about what we did. I'll talk about our race, and then why don't you take the other guys.
Sounds good.
So, we started second on the grid in the top split. Bruno got us the pole. And on lap 1, and this is just some general footage from the race.
Yes, and hopefully it runs smoothly, because this has a really low bit rate, so it doesn't look great.
We're hoping that it is. We're hoping that all of it is. I haven't seen any stutter comments, so far so good.
Yeah.
So anyway, on lap 1, Bruno lost connection. So it was funny hearing Fabio's story too. Fabio was just waking up, like in his pajamas, like no shoes, and had to jump in and get into the car. So anyway, we started off bad. And you know what? No fault of Bruno's, because Bruno was streaming it, and I would watch his connection, and it was rock solid. So anyway, that dropped us, and then Bruno came back in, got dumped again from the server, so we ended up losing like almost 3 laps in the first 2 stints. Fabio then got in the car, ran well, and then it was my turn. And I pulled a total bonehead. Exiting the pits, Fabio was spotting for me, and he said, hey, there's some GT3 cars coming, so just a heads up. So in my haste to get out in front of those guys, spun the tires, lost it, and put it straight into the frickin' tire wall. So anyway, I limped around, pitted. That put us another couple laps down. So before the halfway point, we were already 5 laps down, which really sucked. So anyway, then John ran. John ran a solid stint. Then Scott ran. Scott had a few issues. Sorry for mentioning that, Scott. And that, you know what? Part of the problem too is we didn't develop that setup enough.
Yeah.
That setup needed some work. So anyway, all said and done, we ended up finishing 15th. Is that where we finished? Yeah.
Yep.
15th place, 11 laps down. Fabio had the fastest lap with a 156.568. No, I'm sorry. Fabio had the fastest average with a 156.568. Bruno ran the fastest lap of the race with a 154.2.289, and Bruno also ran the most laps with 101 of 356 total. Pay attention. Winner of the top split in the prototype class was Driving Revolution. Hint, hint. And the GT3 class winning team was VRS Coanda SimSport. So now why don't you tell them about the our second C7 Daytona prototype team.
Yeah, our second team was made up of Doug Howley, Tom Foose, Andrew Packer, and Julian Orozco. Orozco? That sounds better. And pretty much of the team, Tom had the fastest average with a 158.468, and they're running the Daytona prototype as well. Tom also had the fast lap at a 156.514, and ran the most laps at 115 of the total 353. So Tom, definitely good one on you.
Yeah.
And they were in the 6th split, and they ended up finishing 5th overall, 7 laps down. So pretty impressive for a team that just, like I said, a bunch of new guys get together.
Yeah.
And
they were the best finishers of all of our inside sim racing teams on the day.
Yeah.
So good job, guys.
Good job. And then that leads us to our GT3 team that ran the Z4, and the drivers were Janelle Davids Grant, Christoph
Brandstetter.
I'm so sorry, guys. John Langan, Atanas Dimitrov, I think, and then Jerry Mueller. So, and the fastest lap went to John, running a 205.648.
That was fastest average.
Oh, fastest average, that's right. Fastest lap went to Atanas.
He's in chat, too.
I know, he is. I'm sorry.
Tom Foose is here, too.
And he ran a 204.064. And then John had the most laps with 93 of 318 total laps complete. And the team finished in
one of the lower splits.
Okay, they were in the lower splits, yeah. And it only had GT3 cars, because the upper splits were kind of half GT3, half prototype, all GT3 split. And they finished 11th, 10 laps down. And all 19 drivers had a safety rating gain.
Yeah, so all of us, even though some of us really screwed up, like me, we all gained safety rating in that race, which was pretty cool. And something I want to say too is thanks to all you guys for representing Inside Sim Racing. It was a lot of fun getting to know you in practice, and it was just great to have you guys out there representing us. It seems like all of you guys made some new friends, because I know a lot of those teammates. They basically, that's one of the great things about endurance racing is the camaraderie.
Yes.
And working together as a team to finish a race. Heck, all of us finished.
Yeah.
So that's an accomplishment in itself. I got to say, that race was hell. As a Daytona prototype driver, it probably wasn't as bad as for those GT3 guys, because it was all GT3 cars. But running the Daytona prototype at Sebring with the GT3 cars was a nightmare.
It's hard. You catch them in all the wrong spots, and they're not that much slower in the braking zones. So it can sometimes even be hard just, get alongside someone, and then before you know it, you think you got them clear, but they're still out there.
And then their pull off the corners was strong. I mean, it was you had to be on their ass to be able to get a run on them down some of the straights. So it was a challenge getting by those GT3 cars. And if any of the GT3 cars drivers from our split happen to watch this show, I'm sorry if I
cut
you off or.
I didn't have anyone really drive me bad or anything. It's just the difficulty of being on a tough track with two different classic cars.
Yep, it is. So before we go any further, the question to win the Derek Speare Designs Track Boss button box is, what team won the top split in the race? So we mentioned the team name.
Prototype.
In the prototype class, what was the name of that team that won in our split?
You gave us away so bad, everyone's going to be all over this.
I really got. Come on, guys.
No, I'm expecting to see a bunch of them.
So let's see. First person that answers correctly in chat wins.
There we go.
Paul Hoggett.
He was on it.
Congratulations, Paul. You won the Track Boss. Let's show the Track Boss button boxes. Everybody's coming in with answers. Paul Hoggett is the winner, though.
I think he probably knew it was coming there.
Hey, smart, man. I would have had that written in chat and pushed enter as soon as the question was asked.
Yep.
So, Paul, email me at darren@isrtv.com, and I will hook you up with Derek Speare Designs. And thanks again, Derek, for putting up that button box. And thank you guys. You guys paid attention. Lots of people answered correctly.
Well, they were.
I answered it way earlier, but misspelled it. But hey, if you had to answer it after we asked the question.
Yeah, it had to be after we asked the question. I know at the top when we first said who the.
Not when I hinted at it.
Yeah, not when there was the hint. It had to be when the question was asked.
Yeah, I don't see it. I think Paul Hoggett is the winner. And Mazda Fan Gaming. We mentioned this earlier. Yes, we usually did start at 9 p.m. GMT. We switched the clocks here. We went spring ahead. So we moved the clocks an hour forward, which basically made it 8 p.m. GMT or UTC, whatever the heck it is. Too much delay in stream to do these type of contests. Everybody's got the delay.
We just got to come up with a better question next time.
I thought that was good. Not fair, ISR TV.
We'll have more. Don't worry.
Well, this guy, Dave Hiles, I was seeing the answers before you were done with the question. Maybe you weren't set to live in the stream.
Yeah.
Everybody should be getting it at the same time, approximately.
Well, and again, and earlier when we first hinted at it, we saw a bunch of people answer the question, and we were ignoring those. We're only focusing on the first one we saw after we said the question.
Paul, I'm going to put my email in the chat here so you can just copy and paste it. He was asking for it again. So, anyway, it is what it is, guys. Paul won. So, now we're on to Q&A.
Yes, we are. Let's see. So, and again, if you have any questions, put it on down here. First question we had, I can't remember where this was. This was before the show in chat. Leo Hervinen asked, hey guys, I have a PlayStation Evolution rig and a Logitech G27 set, and I'm having a lot of trouble with the heel and toe. The pole blocks my leg moving in a way that I have to twist my ankles. It's uncomfortable to use. Is this a common problem? Yes. With that rig. With the play seat. Because you have a pole.
That's always been one of my complaints about the the rigs with the center post like that.
Yeah. So it's you just gotta have a rig without a center post to really properly do that heel toe. And
guys, people are still complaining about the lag. You know what? There's nothing we can do to control that. No. It is what it is. One person was going to win anyway. Paul answered. It was probably 20 seconds after we asked the question live.
It was.
We saw the answer in chat.
Yeah.
So, you know what? There's only so much we can do. We apologize if you didn't get in time or you heard the question when the answer was already there. Maybe you weren't live on your particular stream. Anyway, sorry guys. You could have won a T150 package by answering a question. That was completely random.
Yes, that was random.
So maybe next time we'll do a randomized thing like that and have you guys answer a question and pick it at random.
So, and speaking
of... wait. There was a question we missed.
Oh, we did miss that one. That's right.
This is a great question, too. Jay Hun Park asks, how do you pace yourself in terms of stamina for endurance racing? Any tips for 12 hours of Sebring? We, as a team, we try to space it out to where we only run 2 fuel stints at a time, which ends up being a little under 2 hours.
Yeah.
Usually. And usually after 2 hours, especially I ran it in the stage 4, I was a little spent.
Yeah.
It wasn't bad, but I mean,
Yeah.
it was definitely more of a workout than in a static rig.
Yeah.
But yeah, we just try to practice a lot, so you're in race shape, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
And then try not to run too long of stints. I don't know how some of these guys did, 24 hours or 12 hours. I don't know if there was any guys that did solo this year.
I hope not. That's a hard one. But yeah, you just got to really stagger people out. And that race, there was a team in our split that only 2 people ran.
Yeah.
So 6 hours. That's a lot. To run 6 hours in a 12-hour time span. It's one thing to run 6 hours like over 24, but yeah, that's a lot. So that's pretty impressive.
By the way, somebody else just came in and said, "What? Started early." You know what? Again, we apologize. We should have said something last week. I didn't even think about it.
Well,
though.
I didn't
think about it till today.
Yeah.
We changed the clocks forward here in the States, which affects UTC, GMT time by an hour or so. So anyway, we apologize.
So this will be the time for next. Well, I don't know until you change your clocks there in your country, essentially.
Yes.
One thing I know we jumped in the Q&A here, but we forgot to show the clip of American Truck Simulator.
Oh, we got to show that.
So let's
cut to that.
Let's cut to that since you got your trucker cap on.
So this is American Truck Simulator. SimXperience just came out with with a patch that added compatibility. And John posted a picture of me driving this yesterday on Facebook, and I had a blast driving this thing. I can tell by the look of you even said, "Man, I shouldn't drive that because I'm going to be stuck." I told my wife last night, "I'll be right back. I got to go. I wanted to adjust the triple screen." By the way, Ricky's not here. Ricky Davies was giving me crap because I didn't do the triple screen multi-mon setup. I have it there now. It may not show perfectly here because of this angle, but man, American Truck Simulator with the motion and the AccuForce was freaking awesome. John Finnegan, shout out to you, buddy. Anyway, it was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed driving this. Speaking of this, a guy's going to set us a Eaton shifter mod. That's, I guess, a real Eaton shifter handle with the button and everything, so you can do the switching between the gates or whatever. Travis, you got to give me a ride in your truck. Show me how that all works.
I can't wait for that. That's going to be awesome.
I wasn't wearing slippers here, by the way. I was wearing my slip-on Vans. Usually I am wearing my slippers. Heck, I'm wearing my slippers right now, as a matter of fact. But anyway, fast forward it, John, to the end of this and show my crash. You guys can see the movement.
Oh, yeah, that was funny.
So yeah, let's just run from there. So I just decided to take it into the wall.
No, this did look really awesome with the rig and seeing it, and I love the movement when every time you shift, getting kind of the larger throws. What are you racing, a cop here?
I was running on a cop's butt. Yeah. Well, the speed limit right there was like in Vegas, coming out of Vegas was like 85 or something.
Oh, here you go.
Here we go.
This is where.
Boom.
Goodbye, cruel world.
Yeah. So anyway, that was me driving. That's why I'm wearing my trucker hat today.
Say we'll have to do an official video of that.
We do. We do have to do we got to, you know what? I'm going to be doing probably a bunch of test drive videos with the Stage 4 because I'm like a kid on Christmas morning with that thing. Every time I sit down in that thing to drive. You know what, too? I was the first week, all I really drove was the Daytona prototype at Sebring.
Yeah.
We did the Audi test.
Yes.
Briefly at Daytona, but I really only drove the Daytona prototype at Sebring. So now I'm starting to bounce around. Yesterday I drove R Factor 2 briefly, which was awesome, and then I got stuck on American Truck Simulator. I told my wife, "Hey, I got to go down and make some adjustments." I was down there for 2 hours. I ended up driving like 3 missions. Billy, you need insurance on that thing.
Yeah.
Whiplash insurance.
But speaking of which, you're going to have a first look of that rig coming soon.
Yeah, filmed a first look video. I'm going to talk about what you get in stage 1 through stage 4, my first initial impressions, stuff like that. So yeah, that's already in editing in the editing bay, and don't show that vid to your physical therapist. That thing doesn't do anything to me. I just keep screwing it up playing volleyball. Anyway, someone asked one of the questions. Actually, I'll take that question really quick since we're on Mazda Fan Gaming. Darren, how is the traction loss effect on the Stage 4? Why don't you answer that for starters? You got to drive it briefly.
Yeah, I mean, it works. It's everything you would hope it to be. I mean, because actuators are so fast on that thing, when the car starts stepping out, on screen, and when you perceive it should be stepping out, the traction loss is right there with you stepping out, and you feel it, and it really helps you to
catch it.
Counter
Yes.
steer. So, no, it works great.
I mentioned I drove R Factor 2 yesterday. I wish I had some footage of that to really show the traction loss. I was driving that Camaro at the Atlanta Motorsports Park.
Oh, yeah.
And that thing steps out. I mean, that car's always been a handful to drive, and I was practically drifting it. Because every time it started to step out, I mean, talk about getting that seat of the pants feel, where you're, in a real car, like in my Camaro, for instance, I can pitch my Camaro sideways and bring it back every time. I've never lost control in that car, and I've driven it like I've stole it a lot. And because you get that feeling, you get that pitch feeling, and you can instantly react to it. Where sim racing, you don't get that. But you do in that.
Yeah.
You do in the Stage 4. And man, it is instant. I mean, as soon as the car starts to step out a little bit, you feel it.
No, like you said, that seat of the pants feeling is so, when Wally Dallenbach was doing NASCAR coverage on NBC or TNT, he was always like, how do you drive a car? You feel it in your butt.
Yeah.
That's how you feel. That's how you
like
drive
the seat of the pants.
Yeah, exactly. That's how you drive a car.
Think about how that term, seat of the pants.
I know, it's it's a term, so I don't have to say but anyway.
But that's a great way to put it.
Yeah,
that's
what
it
it is.
Your ass.
You do. You feel your body rotate.
Yep.
So no, it's pretty awesome. Oh, and speaking of videos, while Darren's working on that first look, I mentioned earlier, I'm working on the Trak Racer RS8. I got that pretty far along in editing, so that'll be out tomorrow. So that should please, Rossi, Redline Rossi. So been asking for the last month and a half.
I wonder if that's one of the Trak Racer guys in reality. Because they've been asking me almost on a daily basis. Speaking of which, in that show, we're going to be giving away, and we already picked the winner, and we can't say who it is here, but we're going to be giving away, or they're going to be giving away one of those chassis. So stay tuned to that, and we're going to be talking about it, or we're going to be doing a contest giveaway.
Yep.
Trying to grab some questions here, so I'm trying to multitask. We got lots of good questions.
While you're doing that, we'll get back to the Q&A, and with Paul Hoggett, who won the button box. Let's see. He said, I've been on iRacing for a month now and got a Class D license, but I'm not sure what cars and tracks I should be buying to progress further. I find iRacing very complicated. It also seems expensive if you don't know what to do. Thanks for in advance. Well, now you got a button box, you don't have to worry about purchasing. Let's see. So
it comes in handy for iRacing.
It does come in handy in iRacing, especially when you get up to faster cars.
Well, and run like endurance races
racing,
like we did.
Yeah, no, being able to adjust things like brake bias on the fly, and they have some other cars have adjustments you can do in car, like IndyCar. You have the weight jacker, which is essential when running on the oval or running in the Indy 500. I say the best thing to do is to kind of just create a bit of a course of what you want to run. If you want to go the GT3 route, then work on cars building up to that. Go check out their schedule. And also, like when it comes to buying tracks, there's some tracks that are just very popular that are always worth buying because a lot of series run on them. Watkins Glen is always heavy on the schedule because it's a fairly easy track. Let's see, what other ones? Spa is on a lot of schedules. Newer tracks are normally on schedules, so Nürburgring, I'm sure. I haven't checked.
But again, starting lower series, check the series that you're going to run in.
Yes, I first checked the series. So
and a lot of times the schedule, almost every season, the next season's schedule will come out
a couple weeks ahead
of time, so you can get an idea what you need to buy. Another tip: buy multiple pieces of content at a time. I think if you buy at least 3 or 4 pieces of content, you get like a 25% discount.
Yes, yeah. So always bundle content. I think it is 4 pieces now. So yeah, always buy pieces together. So that's, again, it's what do you want to drive? Do you want to drive some GT3? Do you want to drive open wheel? Maybe you want to drive stock car? And go check out those schedules, see what they're running. The tracks do change, but they don't always change drastically. It depends.
Another tip for you too, if you're really trying to work your way up the ladder to get to the higher series, you can skip a series. So in other words, you don't need to go from rookie to D to C to B. If in every series, as long as, so let's say you're trying to get into a C series. As long as you have a D 4.0 or higher license, you can run in a C series.
Yeah.
Because it's usually D 4.0 and above.
Yes.
Or C 4.0 and above. So it may look like it's a B class or a C class series, or you think, oh, okay, I got to go up the ladder and I got to run every series. You don't.
Yeah.
So time trialing and getting up to, again, so perfect example like in the stock cars. Let's say you don't want to run the late models or the lower series and buy all those short tracks and all that stuff. You want to jump straight to the trucks. Get your D 4.0. I'm going to verify this. I'm almost 90% positive here.
That's, if it hasn't changed, I don't think it has. That's exactly what I did. So on the oval side, and I was a big oval guy when I first got into iRacing, I went straight to the trucks by being a D 4.0 safety rating driver. And then on the road side, I went from the Solstice at the time, and I skipped the Skippy. I've never driven the Skippy. I skipped it, and I went right to Star Mazda, being a D 4.0 driver. So yeah, you can skip classes like that, and save money from buying content that you might not want to stay there.
Exactly. You won't need to buy that car. Another thing too to take advantage of, and I would love to see iRacing implement this full time, is when they're in the middle of a new build, they put up this new test drive site. Yeah. Testdrive.iracing.com that allows you to test drive any car or track. I think someone I saw post in the forum saying you need to have downloaded that track car or track even if you don't own it. Okay. Because you can, how you can download optional content. Yep. So like if you're racing in a GT3 class and you only, let's say, own the Audi, you still have to download those other cars. You don't have to own them. So I think you might need to download that content. But that being said, I would love to see them implement it to where iRacing members can test drive anything before they buy it. I saw a bunch of guys saying, oh, I test drove this and I ended up buying it because of it. I test drove that. Scott ended up test driving the Mercedes and the Audi and the few other cars, a couple days back. And I think that's a great way for guys to, I think they would sell more cars that way.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, I guess there's a slight chance that they would sell less cars because someone would drive something or go out and drive something, oh, I don't like this.
Yeah.
But maybe they'll buy something else because of it.
Yeah, I think so. Someone mentioned that I guess now if you buy 3 to 5 cars, 10% discount.
Okay.
Okay,
so to go to the truck series. And here they're listed by D class series, C class series. So if you look at the C class series, perfect example, and let's say you want to run the GT1 World Championship or the Prototype Challenge or the IndyCar Series Oval, open or fixed, or the trucks, or the iRacing V8 supercars, you need a Class D 4.0. So you don't need to have an actual Class C license. So that's something to definitely take into consideration. Jump the series, jump the shark.
Yep. So
you're welcome, Paul. Our pleasure.
Next question from Yusuf.
He said thanks, that's why.
Oh, perfect. I assume so.
I wasn't being
presumptuous.
Yeah, or sarcastic or a smart ass.
Yusuf Ashraf. God, I'm sorry. Hi guys, what mods, if any, do you recommend to improve the T3PA pedals, T300 RS wheel, and the THR8A shifter? Thanks in advance.
Well, the T3PA pedals, just make sure you're using the conical brake mod, but then...
To begin with, yes.
Bowden Solutions, Bowden Bowden, anyway. John Bowden.
I think it's Bowden.
It is Bowden. Has a load cell that you can get for that. TH80 shifter, you can get the Ricmotech short throw shifter, and the T300 RS. There's a bunch of different rims you can buy directly from Thrustmaster, or if you really want to step it up, you can get a custom rim. But I think you have a few options there.
Yeah, and then that short throw shifter, by the way, that's a Ricmotech mod.
Yeah. I think I said Ricmotech.
Did you? Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Maybe.
Ricmotech short throw shifter.
Okay.
Alon asked, did you move an hour back here in Europe? It's showing 1 hour earlier. Just another heads up, yes. Well, we moved the clocks forward here in the States, which changed the time in Europe as far as the show time goes. We apologize for that. We should have mentioned it last week, but I just thought about it today. So if you're tuning in late, we apologize. Maybe we'll get a boost in viewership now because we started so late. Started so late for them. Started so early, I should say, for them. I'm all confused.
Let's see. Okay, where are we at here? Oh,
yeah, we have more viewers now than we did when we
perfect.
were midway through. So if you're just tuning in, we apologize. You have to catch it on demand this week. Next week,
This time.
double check. Yeah, it's maybe if you guys switch times, and we switch in the spring and in the fall, we go fall back, spring ahead. So if you guys switch times or coming up, make sure you double check our start time. It's always going to be 4 p.m. Eastern time or 1 p.m. Pacific time, which is here in the States.
Yep.
And we'll always try to list it. We'll give you a heads up if we know in advance, but we screwed up. So he also had a question.
Yes.
He's using a T300. What should you recommend as the best upgrade? Oh, okay. I was thinking that's almost the same question we just answered. Anyway, he's using a T300. What should you recommend as the best upgrade? T3 PA, triple monitors, office racing chair, or 144 hertz single monitor? What would you pick of those three?
If he has a T300 with the base Thrustmaster pedals, I would go with the T3 PA pedals, number one.
I would too.
So definitely the pedals would be the first on my list.
That's the best bang for the buck out of those two.
It is. Yeah.
And you know what? I'd get the 144 hertz single monitor, and then if you can eventually upgrade to 3 of those.
Yep, exactly. An office racing chair, hopefully, I mean, you see we're all running, I don't know if that's, you mean chassis or you just mean kind of like more like this. But it's definitely best to have something like a chassis to keep you all secure and not sliding around.
Wayne Francis is saying they switch at the end of March. So maybe maybe they go ahead an hour, so then it'll be back to 9 p.m.
Yeah, I think we're learning that the daylight savings all over the world is all over the place.
I love the time change now. It's light later.
It's so much better.
It's such a.
I just wish we didn't do the fall change and we just stayed the same and it was like this all year.
Yes.
Because I'd rather have it be dark in the morning till like 9 a.m. so it can stay light later. When it gets dark at like 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon, that's depressing.
It is.
Okay, let's see. Oh, we already got that one. Nigel Benton asks, hi guys, does the Thrustmaster TX wheel sensitivity setting work on the Xbox as well as PC? Do you ever adjust the setting or do you leave it at default? Thanks. I assume you're talking about the degrees of rotation setting.
Yes.
So.
Well, no, there's actually I think there's a sensitivity setting too.
Okay. Because if you're talking about degrees of rotation, you can do, there's a button combination, I always forget which one it is, where you can change that on the fly, and we have changed that on the fly. I've done it on both the PC and the Xbox. The Xbox, especially like when we're playing like Forza, you jump from car to car, it's easy to do that adjustment.
Yep.
Done it on the PC as well. But yeah, sensitivity, you can, on the PC, go in and adjust that in the software.
Mm-hmm.
On the Xbox, I don't think so. It's really, I don't know if you can set that up prior to PC.
It depends on the title.
Uh-huh.
Like so Forza, you can adjust the degrees of rotation in
Yeah.
the controller setup.
Yeah.
And then it'll automatically change the wheel for you.
That's true.
And actually, if you do that button push on the wheel, it'll change it in the software too.
Yeah,
So if you
yeah.
go back into that controller setup.
Yeah.
Project cars, I know you can adjust the wheel rotation.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, next question. Glenn McCoy. This one for you. Hi, Darren. I have an Abutter Revolution, but will be getting the SimXperience Stage 4, I believe. Can I ask, what have you done for your triple monitor mount?
That is a great question, and I mentioned it in my my first look. Matter of fact, pull up that video again really quick, John. You can see it. So if you watch the watch me driving the big rig here. So if you look, I'm using the extrusion tubing setup that JCL Racing sent me. Now, there's some guys that sell extrusion tubing monitor stands. To get one that works with this rig, you need it to be, the middle section needs to be at least, so you see the legs coming up. You need to have those extended out. 42 inches is probably, 42 to 44 inches is going to be optimal. My middle bar is only 39 inches. If you look closely, I have it like maxed out. So with the rear traction loss and the width of the chassis, you need to, again, be stretched out about 42 inches there in the middle. So you're really best going with something custom, or getting a monitor stand from the 4Play guy here in the States.
Yep.
The JCL Tubing Faster guys in Europe. Somebody that does the extrusion tubing, sim-seats.com, they do custom triple monitor stands. So you definitely need to space it out to be close to 4 feet wide, 42 inches. So yeah, that's what I did. And it worked great.
Next question, Dark Sea Wolf 125. Looking at a new cockpit, I know you guys did a review of the RS1 and GT Omega Art. I know they both had some nitpicky thing. Which do you guys recommend?
Boy, that's comparing apples to oranges. The RS1 is like $1,000 rig, and the Art is like budget rig.
Yeah, more like $500.
You never tried the R-Seat RS1. I had already gotten rid of it by the time you got here. The RS1 is a much better chassis. I mean, the Art's a great chassis, but the RS1 is just tube chassis built like a tank. And if you can afford it, and if you're not as tall as me, that was one of the issues I had. John would have fit in the RS1 perfectly. Being tall, and I still ran it a ton. Anyway, so yeah, they're both great rigs. I mean, it really depends on your budget. I mean, you can't go wrong with either. So, matter of fact, you can ask Billy here in chat. He's got a GT Omega Art. He can tell you about it.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, the Art. I assume you saw our review of the Art. I mean, overall positive. It was just the only kind of issue we had was the pedal plate and securing that. And
you know what? Leo at GT Omega got back to me and said we were supposed to zip tie those at the bottom. Yeah, I'm with you.
It's still not. It's not the best design.
It's not secured solidly.
Yeah, I want something better than a zip tie.
Hey, what's wrong with slippers, guys? Come on, they're warm and comfortable.
I always wear my racing shoes.
Yeah, you do wear those a lot, or socks. You know what? Coming up, I'll be wearing frickin' flip-flops here pretty soon.
Yeah, it'll be hot enough. Let's see. Was this Leo Hervinen? Darren, I hope you saw my question.
Actually, I'll answer it. He was asking, what's a good wheel under the Fanatec price point?
Ah, gotcha.
You know what? Watch our wheel buyer's guides for the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One. They're both on our channel. And whether you're doing for one of those consoles or the PC, pretty much all those wheels work on the PC, and we mention it. But you really should watch that guide because that gives you an idea of all of them. I mean, yeah. Thrustmaster, if it's for the PC, I would go with like a Thrustmaster T300 or a TX. No, I'm not going to be wearing pajamas on the show. Anyway, so yeah.
Next question. Jonathan Shipman asked, does anyone know if the G27 shifter works with the CSW V1? I assume that's a no.
No, that is a no. Not unless you get an adapter. There's that adapter that Basherboard makes that allows you to plug it directly into the PC. So if you're looking to do that on a console, no, but there is an adapter. I think it's like the FL1 or something like that through basher boards. Anyway, John, you keep things rolling here. I'm going to step away for just a moment and use the restroom. I will be right back.
Okay, so next question, I'm going to skip that one because that's more one for Darren. Mazda Fan Gaming asked, oh, that's Darren too. Man, getting all the good questions right when he steps away. Akuru666 asks, do you create specific setups to feel the car move? I always have problems feeling the rear of the car. You know, that's a tough. It's kind of a tough answer because, you know, it comes down to setups, and really in sim racing, like I said, if you don't have like a traction loss like we have with a Stage 4, then you're really relying on the sound of the car and what you're seeing on the monitor, and even a little bit of the feel you get in the wheel to understand if the car is about to step out and for you to catch it. So a couple things I would say: always make sure your volume is plenty loud enough so you can hear the tires starting to squeal if it starts stepping out on you. You know, either, you know, maybe wearing headphones is a good way to do that as well. And then I would say another thing setup-wise is to go out there and, you know, search for setups that people might have in the forums, or like iRacing has like a setup sync. You can try that out and, you know, see if they feel a little better than like a base setup. And also, when it comes to setting things up, you got to do a lot of like A-B stuff where you kind of got to go and make one change, go out and drive it, come back in, see, you know, did that feel better? Do you want to go more that direction? Do you want to go less? As always, when it comes to setup talk, I always point people to the videos we came out about a year ago now from iRace for Life, where some of the setup gurus on the road and oval side talk about setups. So I would check that out. But yeah, doing those things would probably help you out a little bit. And I am purposely ignoring chat right now. I see lots of comments. But hey, you're back.
Sorry, guys, too much coffee this morning.
You want a question?
Sure. Yes, I turned my mic off. I made sure. Didn't want you guys to have to listen to that.
Let's see. We already kind of got traction loss. Let's see. Donnie Leonard asked, are you able to do a tutorial on how to get the AccuForce to work with other sims? I can't seem to get my AccuForce to work with Automobilista, RaceRoom FFB, and GameStop Car.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, you should go to the Owners Club forum. Somebody here in chat is very helpful. Avenja is always willing to help people in the Owners Club forum. I will there too. I know they just came out with, SimXperience just came out with an official profile or patch that adds compatibility for Automobilista. Best thing to do is, in my opinion, with those three titles, is run foundation feedback. I don't like the game force feedback with any of those three. I always wash my hands, by the way. Anyway, I use foundation feedback for those three titles. I don't like how it feels with the game's force feedback. As a matter of fact, that's what I'm using for American Truck Simulator too. I turned on foundation feedback, which basically Sim Commander then takes the data from the game and creates their own force feedback versus using direct input. Mm-hmm. So there you go. There's the answer to your question, Donnie. I may be doing a bunch of different tutorials coming up here in the future. Someone also asked, since I'm on the subject of SimXperience, Scorpion 2 asked, did you film the assembly of the Stage 4? Yes, that's what actually took me twice as long to assemble it. I assembled it, or I videoed it step by step. So I'm actually going to do some video manuals for the guys at SimXperience, and we'll be having those out soon. I don't know, we may not even air them on our channel, maybe on SimXperience's YouTube channel, but that was part of the deal for getting that, was to do those videos for them.
Yep. Okay, next question. Let's see. Spank the monkey one. Darren, what would you say is the best sequential shifter for sale, or would it be good to make one?
First of all, nice name there, buddy. I don't know about making one.
There's a lot out there these days.
Yeah, I could probably make one, but I don't have the knowledge. I'd have to look at a bunch of different tutorials and stuff.
By the time you make something, you end up spending more money because you're trying to figure out how to do it.
There's lots of great ones on the market.
There are.
Derek Speare Designs has one. I think Husingfeld has one.
Yep.
Frex makes one.
Yep.
And then you can get the Thrustmaster and Fanatec offerings, the TH8A shifter.
I saw Pablo in here earlier. Got the 3D printed.
I think that's a gated. I don't know if that's a sequential or.
I thought that was sequential.
Anyway,
let us know.
There is a ton of options for sequential shifters out there. So
yes,
just do your homework and pick the one that's within your budget. They all do a great job. I mean, I personally like the Thrustmaster Fanatec offerings because you can switch back and forth.
Yes.
So.
Yeah. No, I like the TH8A quite a bit in sequential.
Yep. I think we missed a question. Did you ask the Akiro 666?
I did.
The devil?
Yes, I gave a long-winded answer.
Satan's in the house.
Let's see.
J4M35R, did you ask that one?
So, hi Darren and John, got iRacing last week. Are the baseline setups competitive or do I need to spend time tuning? Well, they're a hell of a lot better than they used to be. I'll say that. You do need to spend some time tuning, even though you need to especially kind of get the setup tuned in on the oval. The road course, there's a lot more of a skill differentiation there. Like if you can just wheel it. Some guys can wheel
Bruno.
Bruno.
Bruno can take any setup and
run like 2 seconds faster than me. So
than everybody.
Yeah. So
not everybody, most.
Yeah. So I mean, setups do matter, but they're not necessarily the end all be all, especially on the road side. But yeah, I mean, I think the best thing to do, and I mentioned this earlier, go watch those videos that we have of Wyatt Gooden on the road side, David Cater and Ray Alfalo on the oval, and then just spend some time just playing around with setup. Pick a car, see what it's like to adjust tire pressure and spring rate and aero and stuff like that, and try to get comfortable with it. Or if not, just go to the forums.
Or another option is just run fixed setup races.
That too.
There's lots of fixed setup racing options, so you don't even need to build a setup.
And that's where that kind of came out. The fixed setting racing wasn't there to begin with in iRacing, but some people are like, I work a job, I got family, I don't have time to spend hours and hours tuning on a setup all week. I just want to go race, and that's where fixed setup was born. So that could be the best option for you as well.
Yep. We already answered that question. Oh, no, we didn't. Why the Ricmotech T3PA Pro load cell not work on the T3PA? It's because of the way that setup's built. It's just not, the Pro pedals are, somebody heard Charlie barking. The Pro pedals have a different, the way that they're, built. So you just can't install it in the T3PA housing. Holly Carb, that's Doug Holly, by the way, who ran on our second prototype team. Would you put a GT Omega chair on a rig?
Like an office chair? Yes, I would.
I mean, yeah, if you could mount this, I mean, I wouldn't want the swivel and the tilt going on, but this is a sweet chair.
Yeah, no, I like the GT. The GT Omega actual chassis chairs, I think, are even better.
Yeah.
Like they're a little thicker, a little more bolster. I mean, I still like this chair a lot. But yeah, all the GT Omega chairs, I can't.
Are
say
they
anything.
different?
Yeah, this is a little thinner. They are different. The office chairs are.
I guess because we have the.
We got the
cushions.
The cushions, yeah.
Do you have your cushions?
No,
there?
I took the cushions off.
I like my cushion.
I kind of like just.
I'm an old man.
I feel like it fits pretty well.
I got the old man cushion going.
The GT Omega, all their chairs I like a lot. I find them very supportive, which we don't always get that. So now I'm a big fan of them. So if you can't figure out how to mount them, because this one, since it's an office chair, it's just has like the center swivel. So I'm not entirely sure how this would be done. FYI. Let's see.
Yeah, you'd have to take the chair completely off.
Yeah.
You're better off just probably for the price buying
a chassis.
Or buying it. I mean, if you're looking to change your seat out, just buy there's a bunch of different manufacturers out there.
Yeah.
There's a company called Scat that's here in the States. You can go to Jags or what's the other one? I bought a bunch of stuff from them. Anyway, the car parts places. A lot of those have chairs,
Yeah.
seats, bucket seats, and you know what? Check on Craigslist is a good place. I found some on there.
Yep.
If you're in the States.
Let's see. Lei, Flux 07. If you played a classic racing game for a nostalgia trip, what would you choose? Good question.
You know what? Ricky Davies just posted on Facebook. Did you see his Facebook post in the last couple of days?
I didn't see it.
You can get GT4 or GP4,
Okay.
Grand Prix 4 by Jeff Crammond for free now. It's like freeware.
Ah.
And there's a site that has mods for it and stuff. I don't think I might have had that title, but my PC couldn't handle it back 15 years ago or whatever it was. But I would love to run that title.
Yeah.
Because I never really raced it. And it's been updated a bunch of times. And if you think about it, that's F1 cars from 15 years ago. And that title was supposedly ahead of its time. So
I think for me, if I go down like growing up and like the old titles I used to play, I loved NASCAR Thunder 2002, I believe. It was the 2001 season. I think EA Sports always kind of did it the year ahead. But I got that when I got a PlayStation 2 for Christmas. Well, me and my brother, the family. And yeah, I played a lot of that NASCAR Thunder 2002. And that was my favorite of the series. From there, it kind of went downhill for me, even though 2003, 2004 wasn't bad, and then it kind of fell off a cliff. But yeah, I was a big fan of that game. Could I keep on seeing this question? I got it down here. Cops Run, one of my favorite names we have here. Q&A, John, I'm thinking about buying iRacing. Is it worth it? Yes. I mean, I just...
if you want to race online, I mean,
Well,
if you want the best competition,
Yeah.
and be able to race. I saw some guys talking early, our buddy Scott Holmes, and some other guys talking before the show started about how filled the splits have been in the new Renault Formula 2.0 on iRacing, and they've been having 8 splits per race.
Yeah.
So that's a lot of racing. So you can race pretty much 24/7 on iRacing. So if you want real world or real time multiplayer, against human competition, iRacing is the way to go.
Yeah.
If you buy everything at once, it's going to be pricey. But there's ways. Watch. I did an iRacing 2-part tutorial series on getting started in iRacing. Watch that because it tells you how you can save money and.
And I know. Last night I was watching the NASCAR broadcast on RaceSpot, and by the way, they ran no caution free at Phoenix. That was by far
That's insane.
That was by far the best race I've ever seen that series run, and I've followed them pretty somewhat regularly since like 2010, 11, whenever they started. That was by far just the best race. The racing was fantastic and looked just like the race this past Sunday where they were running multiple grooves. There was this awesome tire and fuel strategy where guys were trying to go one stop, and I think they ended up failing and had to do 2 stops. Other guys did 3 stops. So there were comers and goers, and they were passing each other left and right, and they were running all the grooves that you see at Phoenix, and it was just an awesome race. But one thing they mentioned during the broadcast is they have a current promotion. I think it's like, if you put in the promotion tab, it's like RaceSpot something, but you can join for $5, and I believe maybe get the stock car or something.
Oh, really?
So it's like
a promo.
Yeah, it's like a NASCAR promo, but they have all sorts of promos that you can get.
We have a
cheap.
promo at our site. If you go to our homepage,
That's right.
It's 3 months for like $9.
Yeah.
By the way, Summit Racing, Scott, thank you for sharing that. I can't believe I forgot. I spent lots of money with Summit Racing. I can't believe I forgot their name. Summit Racing and Safe Racer are both places you can get seats, racing seats.
Yes. You want to get, here's this question from John Hoy. How's the SimXperience seat?
I love it. It's really comfortable. Matter of fact, they sell it. You can get that seat from them. It's like $236.
Okay.
Super comfortable. I mean, I love that seat.
No,
I ran the 12 hours of Sebring in it. Not all 12 hours, obviously, but I ran about 2 hours and then a ton of practice, and it was awesome.
No, that is a good seat. It as well is good, offers you good support. Let's see, another question I grabbed earlier. Oh, this is a good one. Orange J92 asks, any info on Next Level Motion V2 when you guys will review it? I don't have any. Have we heard anything new about that?
No, I think they wanted to get it to us to try, but I haven't heard much from them lately as far as getting us one.
Yeah. Another question from earlier. It was kind of during our IndyCar discussion. David Osboldeston, again, sorry. Can you recommend an IndyCar oval sim? The only one out there right now, oval, is iRacing.
Yep.
The other titles, the IndyCar recently showed up to Project Cars. It's in R-Factor 2. And R-Factor 2, well, that's not true. R-Factor 2, you can drive it on the ovals there, and they do have a lot more ovals now. And then I feel like it's in something else that I'm forgetting. But anyway.
R-Factor 2?
Yeah, I got R-Factor 2. So yeah, R-Factor 2 and iRacing are the only two places you can really run it on ovals. The iRacing series, I ran that series a fair amount, and it's pretty good participation. So I definitely like running it there. It's almost that time of the year. It's coming up on May, and we'll be running the
Indy 500.
Indy 500, which I love.
It's the weekend of my birthday, actually.
Is it? Nice. Yeah. It man, last year's race, I was like in like the second split, and Fabio, our teammate, was in there too, and I was running like fifth, and I just had a brain fart and hit the turn 2 wall with 30 laps to go, and I was making moves, and it was a great race, and I ended up finishing I got repairs. I ended up finishing at the back, and then Fabio almost won the race, and then had a wreck in turn 3 on the final lap. So we had a very exciting second split with Team ISR TV. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to that race. It's such a hard race. The amount of having to play with the weight tracker in that race last year was insane.
Someone says you look like a member of One Direction.
I don't think I have enough big enough hair.
Happy B-Day Gramps.
That's what I was laughing at. That was kind of funny.
Not a grandpa yet.
Let's see. Oh, this is a good question too. Something I almost talked about on the show earlier. Wayne Francis asked, "What do you think of PS4 VR coming out, and will they feature it on the new Gran Turismo?" So they're supposed work this backwards. It's supposed to be out. Gran Turismo Sport is supposed to be VR, PS4 VR, I guess the official name for it, compatible. They've already said that. As far as what I think about it, I don't know. I'm curious. It's only 1920 by 1080 OLED display, which from you guys who have some of the dev kits for the Oculus know that you need more pixels when they're this close to your face. So I'm curious how it will look. Of course, everything they show right now is all, I don't know. I don't know if it's actual gameplay. I watched a trailer yesterday. So yeah, I'm curious how it will look. I think they were going to run at 90 hertz, maybe 90 and 120 were going to be the two options. So that's good as far as having smoothness and not getting a motion sick or anything. But yeah, I don't know what it's going to look like pixel-wise, because it's a PS4. We're talking about for the Rift and for the Vive, you got to have a strong machine, and we're going a little PS4. So yep. I don't know.
So some guy says you are a dead ringer for one of the guys in One Direction. Take it as a compliment. Now, here's something that this is someone that I think John looks like, and tell me if you guys agree with me here. I think he looks very similar to Chris Evans, the guy that plays. Is it Chris Evans?
I believe so.
The guy that plays Captain America. I think John has the same facial structure. And tell me if you guys think the same.
Captain America from the beginning of the first movie, when he's in his skinny form.
Yeah, no offense, but you're definitely not the size of him in the real form.
No, definitely not. And
you're working towards it, though.
I'm trying. Speaking of VR, I saw today it was announced that the first 30 launch titles for the Oculus were announced, and Project Cars was on it. So when the Oculus comes out, in theory, day one, you should be able to use it, the consumer version with Project Cars. So that's pretty cool news.
Yep. That is cool.
Now we just gotta get Project Cars to get triple screen support.
Yeah. More like the skinny one. Hold on, there was some. Oh, somebody was asking how was the foam on the SimXperience seat. It's good. I like it.
Yeah, I mean it's not the thickest seat as far as padding, but I think because it's shaped well, it gets the job done. We don't have to have like really thick side bolsters.
Wait, I don't think they're talking about the same Chris Evans. Chris Evans I'm talking about is not ginger.
No. No, you said the right person.
No, there's the Chris Evans, the Top Gear guy.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
not him.
Captain America, not Top Gear.
Yeah, actually, here I'll put a link.
I'd much rather look like the
Captain America. Yeah, if I were you, I would too. No offense to the Top Gear Chris Evans.
No, he's clearly doing well in life.
Yeah. Some people are saying, yeah, he does look like Chris Evans. Anyway, yeah, the foam. I like the foam in the Sim. It's a very comfortable seat. I like it a lot.
Yeah.
I love the next question. F1 Massa. Can you guys wait 24-hour Nürburgring Nordschleife? I'm assuming you
can't wait.
Yeah. Can you guys not wait for that? I can't wait for it. We're looking for. I'm really looking forward to seeing what cars iRacing is going to decide. And I asked Kevin Bobbitt at iRacing if you guys made a choice, and he's like, "No, we're still figuring it out."
That is going to depend on my enthusiasm level. I hope it's GT3 and just GT3 class, because I want to drive those cars around the ring, and I don't want to deal with the traffic that I don't want to deal with 5 different classes. And I don't
think that's a good idea.
And I'm not excited about the cars. So I want my vote GT3 only.
Me too. Jonathan, I have your question. I'll get to it. Next one is for me too,
Yep.
so I'll just take it. Mazda Fan Gaming. Any backache after a long stint in the rig? Absolutely none. I was fine after that race. The only thing that was kind of sore for me was my left leg from the Club Sport V3s. I have that brake mod in there, and I was doing a lot of heavy braking. Maybe because I was being pushed into the brakes a little bit more than I normally am, but no back pain at all.
Yeah. No, I got to adjust. During the race, I was running the Fanatec CSP V3 pedals, and
yours are stiffer.
I got to tone that down a little bit. I got out after like my 2-hour stint, and I was like, my leg, my knee. It's kind of like I got that pedal really stiff, and I don't. It doesn't need to be that bad.
Scott Holmes, Jetta exclamation point. No. I know you're joking, Scott.
Yeah, I've never driven the Jetta. I don't want to.
It's
this question I grabbed.
painfully slow.
Another one I grabbed earlier, Redline Rossi. Anyone excited for F1 and MotoGP this weekend? I watch all the F1 races, so I'm excited. I'm because new season. I'm just hoping that the season turns out better.
I don't even want to joke around with what I was going to say.
MotoGP, I gotta watch more. I tend to miss a lot of MotoGP, and it's always great racing. So that's on me.
I know Scott's a big MotoGP fan.
Yeah. I've been doing better watching Supercross this year, which has been some great races. And they're a lot easier to watch here on the West Coast than they are on the East Coast. The final on the East Coast always like midnight, 1 in the morning on a Saturday, and I always forget about it. Let's see.
I like this. Actually, no, we're not there yet. Caden Bin. Oh, that's the kid.
Oh, yeah.
Caden's the kid that we show. Hey, Caden, how's it going, buddy? Do you guys ever use the open wheeler seat? No, that seat's. I think we gave it away at an open house years and years ago. So no, haven't used that seat in a long time. And I like this next one. I'll let you answer it first. Wayne Francis asks, "What was your best online iRacing race?"
That's a good question. I've had some good ones over the years. One that always sticks out to me is, it might honestly be like my last. No. I haven't won that many races in a while. Since I moved up in class, I had a good race in the GT3 at Mount Panorama when it first came out, and I won a race there. That was like end of 2012, I believe. Yeah, I was living in Kansas then. What stands out to me is, I think like 2010-ish, I won a nationwide series, so the Class B stock car, the old Class B one, that's now the like K&N car. They raced at Watkins Glen and had a bunch of kind of road course ringers show up, and I got pretty good at the car, and I went out there and won a top split. Well, it was a top split for that night race. So
Nice.
No, and that's always, I love the stock cars around like Watkins Glen. So much fun. So that was probably one of my moments that stick out to me.
So I have two, and one of them is before they started running the team racing, the 24 Hours of Daytona. They ran the 2.4 Hours of Daytona.
Yep.
And it was maybe the second year they ran it. I was in the fourth split, and I won it. So that was probably one of my highlights of my iRacing career. And then on the oval side, I ran, this is just like a random night, I ran a truck race at Dover with an open setup that some guys had given me.
Oh.
And the setup was just freaking lightning fast. I ended up winning that race. So that was probably my highest oval finish and probably my highest oval win. And then that was my highest road racing win was in that 2.4 Hours of Daytona.
Mm-hmm. Next question, iRacing again. Lei Flux 07. How is iRacing for single player? I know multiplayer is the main element, but the sim looks so good, and I'm not at a level to play multiplayer. Well, iRacing doesn't necessarily have a single player mode. It's there's no AI cars, so you can't race in single player. You can go out there and you can do what's it called? The fast lapping they have.
Time trials.
Time trials. So
Well, then they're talking about doing Nordschleife. I think they have it this season.
They might.
They started.
Yeah, I think they
I can't
did.
even pronounce it. But here, hold on. I'm going to look it up really quick. So I'm still in that series tab.
So you can do like individual time trials type stuff in iRacing. I mean.
Oh, maybe that was still showing week 13 when I saw that.
Oh, maybe, yeah. But I mean, honestly, you know,
it's not
there's
listed
all
anymore.
levels of people racing on iRacing, and so I wouldn't be afraid to jump into the multiplayer.
Oh, there it is. Industria Farton Fun. And I probably butchered that. It looks like they've got 3 different cars. You can run the Riley Daytona prototype, so the older prototype.
Which is a free car now.
Is it?
Yeah.
They made it free?
That's included.
Did they?
I'm pretty sure. Correct me if I'm wrong.
I don't know. Anyway, the Roof RT12R rear-wheel drive and the Ford GT3 car.
A random grouping of cars. But anyway, yeah, so I wouldn't be worried if you jump into iRacing, you know, you can go on, at least with like when I first started, you would just run testing by yourself, and then you jump into a race with people, and the first time you raced around people, at least now you can go and practice sessions that are busier, learn what it's like to drive around traffic, and yeah, I wouldn't be afraid to jump in there and race against people. The biggest thing is just getting comfortable. You don't have to be the fastest, but just be able to drive so you can keep it on the track and be safe out there.
I did butcher it. Someone said that means tourist challenge.
Oh, that makes sense. Let's see. F1 Massa, I assume it's another iRacing question. Are you guys having any problems with DX11?
Wow, someone could see really well that said 65th anniversary.
Oh, wow. Good spot.
Rotten Steve says, white socks and loafers, a camo hat, and a random t-shirt saying something about a 65th anniversary. When you're 40 plus, you can wear whatever the blank you want. Damn straight! You know, you get to 40 plus, you don't give a crap what you look like. You know what? I used to never wear sweats outside of the house. Sweatpants.
Yeah.
Nah, I don't care.
Oh, going back to the previous question, crowd pleaser, just good point. Don't forget ghost racing. Yeah, that's the best thing you should do.
Yeah, good point.
Good point. Yeah, so if you're interested in jumping in a session, you can join it as a ghost car where you can drive on the track with them, but you're a ghost. No one can hit you, and you're not officially in the session. So that's the best way to kind of get comfortable and see where you're at speed-wise and beat around other cars. Mostly speed-wise. That's what I use it for. Good idea. Anyway, any DX11 problems? No, I haven't seen any DX11 issues. Someone did point out earlier, mentioned in chat, that all the lines seem to be a little jaggy in DX11, no matter what your settings are. I think he said he was running a 980 Ti. And I did notice that. Like, the lines have seemed to get a little jaggy in DX11.
Something you guys got to remember, this is still in testing.
It is.
You know, that's why DX9 is still available. So it doesn't seem like they've perfected it yet, and I'm sure they're still working on it. Someone just mentioned too that iRacing is going to do a patch within the next 24 hours.
Oh yeah, they do have a patch coming out. Yes, it was originally scheduled for Tuesday, and it got pushed back, and yeah, it's coming out.
Do they have release notes on it?
I don't think they have it on the members yet. I have an idea what's coming in it,
I was just logged in there and I logged out.
but it's just I don't think it was anything like mind blowing. Just fixing stuff. Let's see. Cops Run. Which do you prefer? Assetto Corsa, Project Cars, or iRacing? I mean, we play them all. Like I said, we obviously would like iRacing a lot. Assetto Corsa. Some of my favorite sim racing is hot lapping around Nordschleife in the Ferrari. And then Project Cars. Project Cars is really good to go. I like it a lot on the consoles. You know, firing up on the PlayStation or Xbox.
I like that California track. You know,
Yeah.
some people really give Project Cars a hard time, and
Yeah.
I guess I'm just more of an optimist when it comes to looking at particular titles. Sure, every title's got its bugs and issues, but
Yeah.
I try to look at all the good
Yeah.
in things. I try to look at all the good in people, and when it comes to sim racing titles. So there's lots of things that I honestly haven't spent enough time in Project Cars. Now that I've got the Stage 4 going, I want to spend some more time in it with that. Yeah, I like all three of them for different reasons. I mean, if we're talking multiplayer racing, iRacing can't be beat.
Yeah.
And that's what I prefer to do the most, even though I don't do it as much as I used to. But like, where am I going to compete in a 12 hours of Sebring?
Yeah.
Or 24 hours of Daytona, or the Indy 500 coming
Sure.
up, or the 24 hours of Nordschleife coming up.
And of course, there are leagues that do that, but that takes a lot of
No,
planning
not
and not just like a jump in.
Yeah,
kind
not
of
at this
level
level.
that iRacing can. Yeah. So no, I agree with all that. And I also agree with the Project Cars. Yeah, I don't understand the full bashing. It's like, play what you want to play.
If you don't like it,
If you don't like it, don't
bitch
play
about
it.
it.
If you like it, keep playing it. Who cares what other people say, really? I mean, it's like,
well,
just keep
you know
playing.
what? There's constructive criticism and there's just bitchy whining.
Yeah.
And I'm all for. Someone was saying if we didn't complain about titles, then developers may not continue to evolve, and as far as the particular titles go. And I agree with that. Providing constructive criticism to the developers, I think, is great.
Yep.
But bitching and moaning that this sucks and that sucks and how could they do this and how could, you know what? You hate it so much, don't play it.
Yeah.
Go play Star Wars or something completely different, or maybe just try to find a completely different hobby, because nothing is going to be perfect.
Yep.
That's my take.
Yep. You get the final decision with your dollar and what you want to play.
Yeah.
Let's see.
I was looking at the Season 2 Patch 1 release.
It just gives times, right?
Yeah, doesn't need to fix some of the issues with the current build and improve the simulation overall. That's all it says.
I will say something I noticed last night in that NASCAR race I was watching. I think they've gotten the collision model, like the boxes around the cars, a lot better, because guys were running like there's a couple times guys were right on the quarter panels, and normally you get close enough where you get a spin because the collision boxes hit each other, and they weren't. They were running really close, so they've gotten that a little better, which that's good to see. Let's see. Jonathan Shipman, is the grandstand wheel stand highly recommended? I don't know of it.
Oh man, I wish.
To be honest,
I can't think of what's that guy's name that. Oh man, it's been so long. I'm getting old. Anyway, I know the guy that created that. I've met him multiple times. It's been a long time though. Great guy. It's a quality rig. A lot of it's built with 80/20 with extrusion tubing, and you can. It's modular, so you can end up buying the back half later on.
Okay.
And it's a good wheel stand. I like it a lot. Now I got to look it up because it bugs the crap out of me when I brain fart somebody's name.
While you're looking up,
Bill Craig.
No. You're way better with names and remembering stuff than I am, so you don't. I mean, you can use your old fart excuse, but I never had it to begin with. Scorpion 2 asks Darren, do you still have the butt kicker with your Stage 4?
I don't, but yep, it's Bill Craig. I don't. Actually, SimXperience sent me 4 butt kickers. As a matter of fact,
They're over here.
sitting on the floor right next to you, with the mounts, and I need to get an amp for it. And they're getting a new amp that they're going to be selling, and they're going to be sending me that to go with it. So I'm waiting on that. And then I'm thinking about taking the 2 out of Frankenrig and installing one in the seat and one under my pedals, or maybe one by the shifter.
Yeah.
So I'm going to have 6 butt kickers. 4 in chassis mode and 2 in extensions mode. Man, I'm going to need like a separate generator to run all this stuff.
You're going to need an airbag next time you jackknife it off the road.
I know. So I think what was the whole question asked, do I need it now?
No, the question was just if you still have them, you're still using the
No,
butt kicker.
actually, do you still need the butt kicker with your stage 4?
Oh.
You know what? I don't think I'm missing. I'm definitely not missing them like I thought I might.
Yeah.
But I do want them. I do want to get that back just to add more. Especially I'm going to have them at all 4 corners to add that rumble as I'm going over different rumble strips.
Yeah.
Add a little more of the engine rumble throughout the chassis, the shift. So I've tuned down the shift bump in the seat, but I would like to feel it throughout the chassis. So I will be going back to them. Do I need them? Probably not. Do I want them? Yes.
Let's see. Leonardo Ratafia. I'm sorry.
Avenge's got 7 on his rig.
I saw it's impressive. Question: why do you guys think iRacing never got in?
Hold on, before we get going.
Yep.
Before we stay on this subject. You should give John some butt kicker.
I know. I got some.
I got John some butt
did.
kickers, and he has been lagging on getting it in. Dude, you got to get. I see him sitting under your freaking seat over there.
I know.
You got to get those installed.
I know. We might have some time now to actually do it.
You even got an amp and everything. I even got him a code to SimVibe.
I know.
Lagging.
I know. I need to do it. No, that is bad. That is something I've pushed off. But
Frankenrig is sitting in my shed right now, by the way.
No, I need to do that because it'll also be a good show to show people. But yes, so back to Leonardo's question. Why do you guys think iRacing never got in the hands of piracy? It seems like every single title out there is. I'm not sure. Well, to be fair, I've seen a couple cars pop up here and there. I think the Star Mazda got ripped at one point.
No, but I think he's talking about overall piracy, like taking the whole title. So, because just about any title you can get on BitTorrent and stuff like that.
Yeah.
After their purchase, which I would never do, and I am totally against piracy because the developers put a lot of time and effort to make these titles, and I hate when I see people talking about that. That is not cool. I mean, you're stealing from them, in my opinion.
You are.
And people can have their take on why they do that, and I'm totally against it.
It's not just your opinion; it's the opinion of the law.
Yeah, no, but some people are just like, well, it should be free, and it's like, well, then how is that company going to make money? So anyway, I think just because of iRacing's structure and the fact that it continues to change, and you're not going to be able to race.
Yeah, how are you going to get into races?
Yeah, you need
access
an account.
Stuff. Yeah,
I'm sure hackers can
when
figure
there's
out
a will,
anything.
there's a way.
Yeah.
Yes, but no, that's probably part of the reason. They've upped recently. iRacing's upped their safety with that third-party safety system, or I don't know, verifying system. I don't know. It has a little teddy bear that anytime you install it, it pops up. But
we did announce our winners. I'm just taking a question from chat really quick.
Yep.
Paul Hoggett won the Track Boss button box, and Edgar Astroff won the Thrustmaster package. So yes, we already gave those away. What else? We got lots more questions still. We're almost at the 2-hour mark. We need to wrap this up.
Yeah, we'll wrap it up soon. God, inside iRacing this week. Black 7 RC. You guys have any issue with DX11 implementation? Not really. They are patching next 24 hours for some reason, right? Yeah, I don't know. Maybe there are improvements in there. I've seen it's been all over the board, but like Darren said earlier, it's still in beta, so it's probably going to be a little not perfect for everyone. Redline Rossi.
Yes.
Stage 4 with Dirt Rally. Have you tried it?
No, I haven't, but it's high on my list. I gotta get out there and try it.
Oh, thank you, chat. Yes, it's the anti-cheat. I don't remember what the program's called, but yes. That's what iRacing got recently, so they're pretty locked down.
So you got any more before we wrap it up?
The only one I had from way earlier, another iRacing, Christopher Draper, I had a question about G-Sync. iRacing has FPS of about 200, but should I limit to 144 to match 144 hertz so G-Sync takes control? I haven't used the G-Sync monitor, but I'm under the impression that if G-Sync's properly working, you shouldn't have to adjust anything in iRacing. Like for me, I don't have G-Sync on the BenQs, but I max, so I limit mine to 144 frames just because there's no reason to go higher. But with G-Sync, it should be taking control. So I would maybe go into the NVIDIA control panel and make sure you have that enabled. I don't know. I know AMD and FreeSync, when I built my girlfriend's computer, I had to go into the AMD control panel, Radeon, whatever it is, and I had to turn FreeSync on, or it didn't work out of the box as default. So I would make sure that you have that setting turned on, because I like to think that you shouldn't have to set it to 144. It might not hurt, because why not? But that it should do the software should take control of that.
Aussie Stig just brought up something, and hey Mark, how you doing? He told me about these headphones that Samsung's making. Have you heard about these? That they trick your inner ear to make you feel motion. So you're not actually feeling motion; it tricks your inner ear.
I saw something about that like yesterday or something. I didn't read into it. That's what it's doing?
Yeah. I told myself I don't know about that. I guess that it's a technique that they use for stroke patients.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah.
But
oh my god.
I don't know. I don't know if I want anything like getting into my head like that.
Yeah, maybe permanently messing you up.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, I know anytime, I don't know. I have two ways of that. I hear that and I go, oh god, yeah, like you, like I don't know. And then I know, but I also know that, you know, there's engineers, doctors, whatever, working on that understand that's an issue. So I don't know. Interesting. Maybe I don't want to be the version 1 guinea pig.
So, you know, before we go, James High says he's got a FreeSync monitor set to on, AMD control panel selects on, and then set V-Sync on in iRacing. I wonder if you guys, before we go in chat here, who has G-Sync or V-Sync, and tell us what you think about it, because neither of us have tried it. We hear great things about it, and I'm curious if it's all it's cracked up to be. So before we go...
and one more thing before we go, too.
I got another thing before we go, too.
Okay.
I think it's the same thing.
Poll?
Yep.
Yes. So let's check...
Hold on, let me vote on it first.
Let me vote. I'm going to vote Thrustmaster because I'm mostly running. Oh, I got to refresh. Let's see where it's at. Okay.
By the way, I don't know how that dude saw 65th anniversary on that.
That's amazing.
Oh,
I voted for you.
You voted for me?
Well, because we're both on the our ISR TV accounts.
Oh.
It doesn't matter.
So why don't you go ahead?
So it looks like the answer is 58% of you are running Thrustmaster, 21% running Logitech, 14% running Fanatec, 4% running SimXperience, and 0% from OSW, but I do see it looks like one vote. I think
see a little sliver down
there. So we clearly had a fair amount of people vote.
Oh no.
So,
no, I just clicked on it really quick and it changed to 1%.
Okay, well I guess the no OSW is currently in the room running. So yeah, that's an interesting breakdown. That's kind of what I would honestly think. But yeah, I mean, a lot of people running Thrustmaster these days.
Okay, so here's some of the answers to that. James High, if you're going beyond the FPS your monitor's refresh rate can do, then you're not using G or FreeSync.
Yeah, that sounds right.
The headset can simulate a drunken state. How cool is that?
Sounds awful.
James High says it's a huge difference. Think about it. If your FPS are higher than refresh rate, then it's not on. FreeSync here on an LG Ultralight, it's great, low latency, smooth, but the clarity that I notice most. But it's the clarity that I notice most. Cool. Oh, that's another. If you have a G-Sync monitor, turn off the V-Sync and it should work properly. It's very nice when it does.
That was a cool comment. Caden's said him and his dad are running a 24-hour race in at Spa on Project Cars.
Nice.
Yes, go with the vet.
Oh, Dow Racer, what happened to Renato interview? He had to postpone it. He was going out of town, so we have moved it back to March 30th. Gonna try to get the guys from some of the physics developers from RaceRoom on the show for next week, because they wanted to come on the show and we wanted to have them on the show. So
Yeah. Well, even Renato. I mean, we had to cancel him last week. So.
yeah. So now we're going back and forth.
Yeah. So it's on all of us. But it'll be good to have him on.
So, with that being said, we're right at the 2-hour mark.
Yep.
Hey, we were glitch free today. I don't think we had any stutters. I didn't knock the stream down like I did last week.
Yeah, we definitely.
So 287 people watching too.
Awesome. Yeah, we had all the videos at like 720 today, so we should be able to go. Well, no, the one was at 1080, but bit rate, playing around with that. So maybe next week we'll bump it up and break it again.
No, we won't. Anyway, thank you all for joining us today. Lots of fun in chat as usual. Congratulations to Paul Hoggett and let's see if it's Edgar Astroff for winning the prizes. Oh, we didn't give away any. Should we give away a Audi TT Cup real quick before we go?
We should.
First person in chat that says, "Oh God, here we go again."
I will. It is what it is.
First person in the chat that says, "I want the Audi TT Cup," gets a code. So let's see who says it.
Yeah, this one should be a lot more fair. Well, not that the last one wasn't, but still, there's no precursor.
Here we go. Come on.
Who is the fastest internet connection? And by the way, there's always a delay on our side. Some people are saying there's no lag. We say something and chat is like a 30-second delay, so there is always a delay for us.
No, don't. No, you gotta say, "I want the Audi TT Cup. I want there we go.
There it
Apex V Gear. Oh, it's Tim.
Nice.
Tim, you want it. You want it, buddy. Avenger, you already won one. You won one last week. Tim, email me, buddy. I'll send you one of those codes. Actually, let's give it to one more person too. Woter Herring. I want the TT Cup. So here, I'm going to put my email address in chat for you guys. Tim, I know you already have it. But email me and I will give you one of those codes. Here, just for the delay, guys, too. I'm going to pick somebody at random here, just in case, just to make it fair. John, why don't you pick somebody at random?
How do I pick someone at random?
There's a bunch of people. Don't pick Scott. Scott gets lots of benefits of the show.
I'm closing my eyes.
Scott, you can't have one.
I'm closing my eyes. I'm going to pull my finger, and you hope it doesn't move.
Mark Fisher.
Mark Fisher. So Mark Fisher, congratulations. The random, you win the random vote.
Yeah, so there, it was totally randomized too, guys, so it didn't have to be the first person. So we gave 3 codes away.
There we go. One of these weeks, we'll all get together after the show and race that car. Maybe next week, we'll see. Well, it's an interview week, so those shows go for a while, but it could be cool to jump in that car afterwards. And we're on an earlier time, so for some of you, so got more time to race after.
Yeah, so anyway, we could go on chatting with you guys forever, and we really enjoy it, but we need to get on with some stuff. Matter of fact, Scott and I are going to be running some Formula Reno. You want to join us?
No, I got to do that video.
Oh. Yeah, before Redline Rossi gets pissed.
Before he finds me.
All right, guys. Thanks again for watching. We really appreciate it. For John Sable, I'm Darren Ganji. We'll see you guys.